Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the channel. Happy Sunday, everybody. I hope your day and your weekend are going very well so far. The NFL Week 13 is officially here, and with that comes another edition of Sunday Night Football. Got a pretty iconic matchup here between the San Francisco 49ers and the Buffalo Bills, and I have some picks to go ahead and share with you guys. But first, as always, people, please make sure to go ahead and hit the subscribe button, hit that like button, and drop a comment down below. It helps the channel grow, and it really does mean a ton to us. With a new day and a new week comes some new opportunities to go ahead and make some money. Like I said, guys, we got a pretty iconic matchup between the 49ers and the Bills. Unfortunately, the game is not as exciting as it probably should have been. The 49ers have had an absolute year from hell, and the spread kind of reflects that. Also, real quick, apologies for my appearance. I'm just getting out of when I'm recording this video, I'm just getting out of my yearly Turkey Bowl game. So had to bring out the eye black, got the aged kind of poorly, but the Aiden Hutchinson Lions jersey going on here. No, I'm not actually a Lions fan. I really like the new black Lions unis. I think they're pretty sick. We got smoked in the game, but I did, as the replacement quarterback in the fourth quarter, did throw 3 touchdowns and kind of made it a little interesting. So not to toot my own horn there. But enough with my backyard football game. Let's talk about the real big game here, the Sunday Night Football matchup. Like I said, this one should have been one of the more iconic games of the season. If you asked me, the preseason would have been one of my most anticipated games for the entire year, but the 49ers have been ravaged by injuries. At the time of recording, we don't even know if Brock Purdy's going to play or not, honestly. But even if he does play, the Niners have so many other injuries that I just don't see how they overcome it. Specifically on the defensive side of the football, Nick Bosa's out, Javon Greenlaw is out, along with a slew of injuries to the offensive line. Trent Williams is also out. I mean, this team is just a disaster right now. And you got a Buffalo team that is riding high and looks like one of the best, if not the best team in the NFL, maybe next to like a Detroit. Shout out the Lions. But the Bills look really good right now. Obviously, they beat the Chiefs just a few weeks ago. At home here, Sunday Night Football, there might be some snow. The weather is kind of up in the air. At the time of recording, everything I read changes. Some people are saying it's going to be like a blizzard. Some people are saying it's not going to be too bad. Either way, it kind of looks like the weather could play a little bit of a role. Regardless, it's a warm weather team traveling to a cold weather area. And so there's really no need to go ahead and dance around here. My first pick in this game's slate, I'm going with the Bills here, -6.5 on the spread. And I would recommend, at the time this video is coming out on Sunday, I would recommend hopping on this, especially if Brock Purdy has not been announced yet, because if he gets announced out, this line is going to skyrocket up to probably close to 10 or 11 points. Getting it at 6.5 here, the fact that we still don't know at this point that he's going to play or not, I'm recording this on Sunday morning, the fact that we don't know he's going to play or not is probably not a good sign. Even if he does play, he's definitely not going to be 100%. And regardless if he plays or not, the injuries the 49ers have been surmassing. It's crazy. Surmassing? How about unmassing? Proper English here. But yeah, the 49ers, I just don't think they can overcome all these injuries, especially the offensive line's really banged up. Obviously, we know some of the injuries, like we know there's no Ayuk. And yeah, they got McCaffrey back, but that's kind of the only reinforcement they had. They brought McCaffrey back, but in the process, lost Bosa and Greenlaw and Williams and all these other pieces. Let's jump into the outlier screen real quick to take a look at the injury report, just so you guys can see what I'm talking about here. Look at the 49ers. Now, obviously, Ayuk's not anything new, but Aaron Banks out. Nick Bosa out. Chris Conley questionable, not as big of a deal. But John Feliciano, we know he's been out for a while. A lot of questionable guys there, but at this point in the year, everyone's pretty much questionable. But here's the big one. No Javon Hargrave. No Dre Greenlaw. Hufunga's out. I mean, you just keep going down with Elijah Mitchell. Again, backup running back, not as big of a deal. But again, Brock Purdy, still questionable at the time of recording. Right shoulder soreness. So Trent Williams out. Just a laundry list of injuries for the 49ers, and I just don't know if they can overcome all that. Especially with the fact that Debo has not had a great year. So even with the weapons that Purdy still has, Kittle's kind of been banged up the last couple of weeks. Debo's had a really down year overall. And to add insult to literal injury, the Bills are coming off a bye week. So they beat the Chiefs, and then they had their bye week, and now they have this game. They haven't played since November 17th. So they had their biggest win of the year. They got a nice long rest, and now they're at home on Sunday night to play the Niners in a potential cold weather snow game. Yeah, I don't see that working out very well for the 49ers, and it's -105 on FanDuel right now, so pretty good value too on this line for Buffalo. Buffalo should roll here. They're covering the spread overall at a 70% hit rate so far this year, but at this individual line of -6.5, a 60% hit rate so far over their last 10 games, of course, over that being this year. They've actually cashed this line of -6.5 in 4 of their last 5 games. And again, 2 of those 5, one against Kansas City, one against Seattle, a couple of good teams in there. But overall, just all the numbers just favor Buffalo here. Look at the right side of the screen. The Bills, top 10 defense in the NFL, top 5 offense in the NFL. The Niners defense tied for 20th. They are struggling, giving up a lot, 23.6 points per game. Whatever metric you want to throw their way, the Bills are just stacking up as one of the best teams and a clear and favorite Super Bowl contender. Kansas City still exists, but they've gotten lucky with a lot of their wins. Buffalo, to me, right now looks like the clear-cut favorite in the AFC, with Kansas City obviously still being in the picture. But Buffalo's looked really, really good. They have that head-to-head win as well. Buffalo, this looks like it could potentially be the year, which is crazy because I thought a lot of us, including myself, Thought this could be a little bit of a down year or a little bit of a rebuilding year for the Bills. In a lot of ways, they look kind of better than they did last year. So, yeah, Buffalo really scary here in the Niners. Like I said, I just don't see the thing they can overcome all the adversities, all the injuries, everything that's happened to them. This team is just broken. It's a year from hell. I don't think they're going to be able to turn this one around here on the road in Buffalo on Sunday night. Now, I do have a couple player props to share, guys, including our anytime touchdown prop. If you don't know what we do every single week here on the video series, I give you guys an anytime touchdown player prop. You comment the name of the player down below, and if the touchdown prop hits, I give one lucky commenter a free Amazon gift card. Don't want to touch the total in this game. I think the total is a little too crazy, especially because we don't know what to expect with the weather right now, so I don't want to touch the total. I don't want any team totals. We're jumping right into player props here, and although I just tooted the Bills' horn for the last couple of minutes here, my player props are 49ers based. My first player prop here is Christian McCaffrey over 99.5 rushing plus receiving yards in this game. Now, so far this year, McCaffrey's played 3 games since returning from injury. He's actually cashed the over in 2 out of 3 games. Last week versus Green Bay, he fell well short of the total. But that game was a disaster across the board, so I'm not really too surprised to see that. But his first 2 games back versus Tampa Bay and versus Seattle, he had a lot of success there. Even with that low total last week, he's averaging 93.67 rushing plus receiving yards per game this season. If we look at the last 10 games dating back to last season, we see an 80% hit rate, averaging 126.3 rushing plus receiving yards per game over his last 10 games. And he cashed this line at a 79% hit rate last season, 15 out of 19 games, including playoffs. He cashed the over. So McCaffrey, obviously, we know he had a monster year last year. Look, although I think Buffalo does win this game, I think they run away with this game. The Niners are going to score a little bit. They're going to be able to move the ball a little bit. This Bills defense, and the numbers look pretty solid, but there are weaknesses. Their run defense, although the numbers have gotten definitely better since the beginning of the year, this run defense is definitely their weakness. I think McCaffrey could go ahead and attack them. We look at the matchup here up above. Overall, the Bills this year, 13th in rushing yards allowed, 14th in receiving yards allowed, about middle of the road, versus running backs, they're 18th in rushing yards allowed. That's bottom half of the league, giving up 97 rushing yards per game to opposing teams. And they are the worst defense in the NFL in terms of receiving yards allowed to opposing running backs. So it's a pretty favorable matchup here for McCaffrey. And again, given the state of the 49ers, all the injuries, whether it be Brock Purdy or Brandon Allen, whoever they go with at quarterback, they're going to need McCaffrey in this game to make something happen, even if they lose. And I think they are going to lose this game. I think McCaffrey will have a little bit of a bounce-back performance following a really bad game last week against the Packers here. So I like this. It's minus 114 on FanDuel, minus 120 on DraftKings, so pretty good value as well. And my third and final pick, guys, we're going Christian McCaffrey, anytime touchdown. This is our anytime touchdown player prop, so it's very simple, guys. Comment McCaffrey or Christian McCaffrey down below in the comments, and if he scores a touchdown, if this prop cashes, one lucky commenter will win a free Amazon gift card if the prop hits. So we're going Christian McCaffrey here, anytime touchdown. Like I just mentioned in the last pick, if the Niners are probably going to lose this game, I really do think Buffalo will cover the number here, but the Niners are still going to score. They're going to move the ball a little bit. I think this game will be a 31-17 type-ish game, 30-17, 28-17 type game for the Bills. The Niners will score at least a touchdown or two, and I think they're going to score some points on this Bills defense. I just don't think it's going to be enough to go ahead and get the win. But if the Niners are going to score a couple touchdowns, I think McCaffrey's a pretty solid bet that he will go ahead and score one. He actually hasn't scored one yet this year. In all 3 of his games, he's yet to score, so he's 0% hit rate. To me, and I know that might be stupid to many, I think it just means he's due. The fact that he hasn't found the end zone yet is pretty surprising, considering that last year, including playoffs, an 84% hit rate. He scored a touchdown in 16 out of 19 games last season, averaging 1.37 touchdowns per game. I know last year's last year, but McCaffrey's not that far removed from all of this. I think McCaffrey's due for a touchdown in this game, and the matchup, again, is pretty favorable. Overall, the Bills are not giving up too many touchdowns, about 2.2 touchdowns per game, which, again, I think the Niners are going to score in the ballpark of about 2 touchdowns. I think 17 points is a realistic point total for the Niners in this game. The Bills are 17th in the NFL, averaging about a touchdown per game allowed to opposing running backs. So it's not a great matchup, but not a bad matchup either. It's not like this is a great team in terms of stopping running backs from getting in the end zone. The value isn't the best. It's minus 125 on FanDuel, which isn't obviously a great total, but the odds are where they are for a reason. I think it's a pretty surefire bet to get a touchdown in this game. So that's our anytime touchdown prop. So comment McCaffrey or Christian McCaffrey down below, and if the prop hits, one lucky commenter will win a free $25 Amazon gift card. All right, guys, so that's it for me in today's video. Kind of a shorter video, just don't really have too much more to say. I think it's pretty clear cut for me, at least, what this game's going to be. And I know some of me wants, the guy upstairs, he's thinking, man, maybe the Niners, everyone's going to be against the Niners, maybe it's a good place to maybe fade the Bills. I just don't see a way where the Niners win this game or keep this game close. I think Buffalo, they've got the rest. They're healthier. They're in better form right now. I bet on the Niners last week. I thought last week was their chance. They got blown up by a Packers team that Oh, they've had a couple of good wins now. They beat Miami, obviously, in Thanksgiving. I got cooked in that one as well. Probably should stop fading the Packers at this point. But, yeah, I think the Bills have this one, especially at home. If there is some weather, you got a warm weather team traveling to a cold, potentially snow weather game. Josh Allen's my pick for the MVP right now in the league, too. This team is just firing on all cylinders. They've had a little bit more time now to prep for this game. I think the Niners are cooked. It's the year from hell. It's unfortunate, but I feel like their title window is probably closed. Purdy's going to get paid soon. Some of these guys are getting older. I just feel like the Niners, last year was their chance. They've missed it. And I just think this year, some of it you can't control, the injury side of it. That you can't predict that stuff. But, the Niners, I just feel like this is probably the end of the road for them this year. I don't think they're a playoff team anymore. We can go ahead and probably, scratch them off as a contender for this year. But guys, that is it for me today. Thank you very much as always for watching, guys. One more time, please make sure to go ahead and hit the subscribe button, hit that like button, and drop a comment down below. I'll see you next week for another edition of Sunday Night Football Picks. But until then, I hope you're all winners. Enjoy Niners Bills. Let's go Buffalo.